Hey guys, Luke and Sean here. Today, in honor of Halloween, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be telling some Yu-Gi-Oh horror stories.
As we all know, Yu-Gi-Oh it can be a fun game at times, but at its core, it is horrific. It is the most terrible experience that can be inflicted upon mere mortals. And sadly, we are here as Yu-Gi-Oh players, ready to tell our stories, our experiences of the worst things that's happened to us. We got a few stories to tell, so let's get right into it. So, this is a group story of me and Luke here. The first time we went to locals. Now, the first time you go to locals, obviously you don't expect it to go too well. But me and Luke thought it was going to go well. Because for some fucking reason, I didn't think people played like Yu-Gi-Oh competitively. I thought there was a bunch of kids. Just, like 10-year-olds playing with like blue eyes and shit like that. And me being like, I've been into Yu-Gi-Oh basically throughout my whole life. So I was like, oh, I'll be really good at this, I'll bring my Blue Eyes structure deck and I will kick ass. And Luke had his Dark Magician structure deck.
It wasn't even Dark Magician structure deck. I brought the Yu-Gi Reloaded starter deck. So I just remember thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be hot shit. Because we even like modded it with some like cards. Because we didn't think that people would like be playing this seriously. Like I had Pot of Greed in my fucking deck. And this was in like, I don't know, 2019 or something like that. Yeah, it was like just before COVID, so this really shows we haven't played like properly. We're kind of just messing around. I had like this really bad like 72 card deck that me and Sean were just like messing around with, and they were thinking, okay, well we're going to an actual Yu-Gi-Oh thing. I might as well buy new cards, so I bought this Yu-Gi Reloaded starter deck. And I was like, okay, Yugi's the king of games. He obviously has the best cards. And then that was also the first time I seen a Link monster, and I had no idea what the hell a Link monster was. So I didn't even know if you could attack these things, and yeah, that was just painful altogether.
If my memory serves me right, I was up against a hero player, and I think I went first, and I think I drew for turn going first, and I think the guy just looked at me like, what the fuck are you doing? And yeah, I didn't know what the fucking Link monster was, and this was also Master Rule 4. So I summoned my Blue Eyes Azure Dragon, or Azure Eyes White Dragon, whatever you call them, in the main monster zone. And the guy was like, you have to summon them in the extra monster zone. I'm like, what the fuck is that? What's an extra monster zone? I also used Pot of Greed. He was like, that's banned. I'm like, oh, okay. I also had a deck full of unsleeved cards, which is really bad. And yeah, I lost 2-0 and we just left. I was, embarrassed, because I was just out of my fucking depth. It was not good. And then we didn't go to locals for like 2 years.
Yeah, well, COVID happened, so that was a good excuse.
Yeah, exactly. But that was a bad time. We've gotten a bit better, not too much better at that point, but we're a bit better now. We do sleeve our decks. Alright, so fast forward a few years. Luke and I are really good at the game now. We're local legends. Check out the vlogs. We're local legends. We go to locals. I bring Time Thieves because I just want to have a bit of fun. Normally I play competitive decks like Branded Buster Blader, but I want to have a bit of fun. For some reason, the day we went there was no one at locals. I think like an event was going on, so there was about 10 people at locals, and that kind of gives you the idea that, oh, I might be able to do good with Time Thieves. That might be pretty cool. Luke brought Virtual World, which is genuinely a pretty cool deck. So yeah, Luke did pretty well.
I came second place and I was very proud. Sean, on the other hand, go on.
I fought against, some new players and then some, like, good players. I kind of destroyed the new players, which made me feel bad because my combo set up, like, 20 negates. And against the good players, I got my fucking ass kicked. So, for me, it was like, I went 2-2. It was pretty bad. Luke went, like, 3 and then a tie. So, yeah, Luke did pretty good. So Luke got his like prize packs and all that. He pulled some cool stuff, and yeah, we decided to leave. And on our way out, I got shit on by a bird. Real life fucking Flandreese. If they don't kick my ass in locals, they kick my ass out of locals. So that was fucking great. I never shit on by a bird in my life, so that was the first time. Also, like me and Luke were walking together, so it barely missed him, but of course it hit me in my fucking hair and everything.
It was a direct hit.
It was a direct hit, direct attack on my fucking life points. So we go to a McDonald's, I clean up, and I'm like, okay, I want to get a milkshake. And there was no milkshakes. I couldn't order a milkshake. It was the most depressing day of my fucking life.
Okay, so we live fairly far away from like the actual or locals, so we usually have to get up early and get an early bus in order to go there. But there was one time not too long ago, a regional was going on, and so we're checking. We only know this because we followed the app Neuron, and Neuron said that there's a regional happening. So we're like, okay, cool, let's get ready to go. And for some reason on Neuron it said that you can't register for the event. So we're like, okay, cool, whatever. We'll just show up, hopefully a little bit early, and then maybe we'll get in. We'll just play some games. We show up, and the first thing we're asked is, "Did you guys register?" And we're like, "No, of course not." So we were added to a waiting list. So we waited around for literally like an hour. We even had to like fill in those little deck lists as well, which takes a while. So we're doing that, and then we're pretty much twiddling our thumbs. And I think the locals capped at like 72 players or something like that. And we did not make it. We did not make the cut. So we traveled all that way up into our locals with an early bus, only to find out that we weren't allowed to play.
It was pretty bad. I brought Ricus and Avalon. I was like ready. I was really ready to do well. And Luke brought Cyber Dragons, which was going to be the most based fucking thing ever. But God said no.
Okay, so this was after we only went to locals once at this point. That was the absolute sham when we were bringing like starter decks and structure decks up. But the first time we decided let's properly go and bring good decks to locals, I was playing Sky Striker, and I think Sean brought Ancient Gears.
Yeah,
so
we have a vlog of this if you want to see that.
We have a vlog of this. It was our first time going to locals properly. We said let's go up, we'll do it. And of course, my very first matchup, the very first deck I play against, I'm playing Sky Striker, and the dude is playing Sky Striker as well, but he's playing Mystic Mind Sky Striker. So my first like real like proper taking it seriously local experience, I'm playing against a Mystic Mind deck. Granted, I still beat him because, you know, Sky Striker best deck, let's go. I'm not playing cringe like Mystic Mind. But it was still just, I was so fed up because at this point all we were doing was playing on Nexus and stuff like that, where every second deck was Mystic Mind. So it was just really disheartening to go to locals, see the person face to face, and one of the first cards he slaps down is Mystic Mind. Was not fun, do not recommend.
Yeah, my first match at that same locals was against Tier, full power Tier, and I was playing Ancient Gears. So as you can tell, it didn't go well. Also, I was playing against the best player in Ireland at the time, which is also pretty bad for your first match back after like 2 years. But you know, I also went, I think 1-4, Luke went like 3-2. Luke also pulled some really good cards that he bought. He bought some tins there and he pulled some really good cards. So that was pretty bad. Pretty fucking bad. So I was 3-1 at locals. I went to the final match. It was, I was playing Branded Buster Blader against Tier. Now, Branded Buster Blader used to be one of the decks I took to locals all the time. It was just so fun. Bestials were pretty rampant, so I just turned off Bestials. It was pretty cool. So I go up against Tier. I lose round 1. I win game 2. So it's coming down to the wire here. We have about like 2 minutes left. We finish siding. I draw my hand. I'm going second. I get imperm. My opponent is going first. He does his Tier stuff. He goes into Sprite Sprint. As we all know, if you have 2 minutes left on the timer and your opponent goes into Sprite Sprint and they activate the effect, you have to imperm it. And I kind of knew that, but I just didn't activate imperm. So he mills the scatter shot, burns me for 500, and then he wins. So I could have tied that match going 3-1-1, which would be pretty damn good. But I just didn't because I am shit. I'm so bad. I've never let it go. This isn't like 2 years ago. But I will never let this go. This will haunt me till the day I die.
Okay, this isn't really a horror story that happened to me. This is more horror I inflicted. So the actual regionals we did end up going to, the first pair up that I was against was literally like the best player in Ireland at the time. He had the biggest amount of points on the scoreboard. So I was thinking, okay, this is a sure thing I'm going to goddamn lose. So we match up. He goes first, and I found out pretty quickly that he's playing Naturia Runic. Cringe, I know. So I was like, okay, wait a minute. This dude doesn't realize I'm playing Virtual World. So every time he activated a Runic card that was kind of like banishing my stuff. I had yugioh live that was able to destroy his runic fountain. It's able to like completely mess up a lot of his Naturia plays. It was really good for me to just pop off. And I had enough experience playing runic myself that I knew exactly what to negate and when. And the fact that this was like one of these matchups where a really meta deck was actually crippling against Virtual World of all things, I thought that was pretty cool. And the fact that he was the best player in Ireland and he lost to Virtual World in 2022 or something like that, yeah, that was pretty funny. So I'm sure he felt horrified after that experience.
Alright, and at that same event, I think it was round 2, I think I had won round 1, it was round 2, I was up against also Naturia Runic actually. And the table next to me, some guy's like, hey, do you have a YouTube channel? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, you Leprechaun Sean? I'm like, yeah. So I got recognized at locals. So that's kind of crazy. I'm really sorry I don't remember your name. I didn't ask because I was really under pressure. I really wanted to win.
Sean's a douchebag celebrity.
I am. I'm just a fucking asshole. We all knew that anyway. But yeah, so the match goes on. I lose in time. So the one time someone notices me, I fucking get destroyed. So like, yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty fucking bad. I think I deserved it for not being a nice guy. So, you know. Okay, moving on from locals, there's more horror to Yu-Gi-Oh! Than the face-to-face aspect. Sometimes, fighting your opponent in Master Duel is the worst experience of your life. As you guys might know, there are these things called the Master Duel Challenger Cups, which are official Konami tournaments on Master Duel where you can win actual prizes, and I enter a good few. There was one where I was playing Brandon Buster Blader, probably not the best thing to bring to a proper tournament, but we made it to finals, and I was up against my opponent. So on Master Duel tournament, you can switch decks between matches, so I stuck with my main deck. I think my opponent was playing Sword Soul to begin with. Game 1 he goes Sword Soul, kicks my ass. Game 2 he knows he's going to go second, so he picks Numeron. Numeron OTK was pretty big back then. Probably now he'd go Mekanko. But yeah, he goes Numeron OTK, I set up my board, he breaks my board, he goes in for the kill, I have an imperm set, I'm like, cool, I live this turn. So he attacks in and I'm going to negate the effect when it activates with my imperm. And I didn't realize that all the Numeron effects activate during the damage step, meaning I cannot respond, meaning I fucking die. So this was also live streamed as well, which is fucking great. Getting publicly humiliated on air, it's just fantastic. The guy was even like, why the fuck didn't you activate it? And I'm like, I didn't realize it didn't activate the damage step, so that was bad. That was pretty bad. I lost out in first place because I'm shit. The thing is though, that was only game 2, so maybe he would have won game 3, but still, I lost because I didn't know the damage step. But I swear to God I know the damage step now.
Okay, this is kind of featuring me. So there was a time, and I know this is absolutely shameful, I was a runic player. I've paid for my sins now, I don't play it anymore. I sold all the cards for a nice profit before they were reprinted. But we decided, well, since I bought all the cards, we might as well just kind of milk the cards while we have them and make a bunch of videos out of them. So I think I put together about 3 different videos for making profiles of the runic builds. One was runic stun, another one was runic striker, another one was just like a regular generic runic build. And we made all those videos and we put them up, and they did decent. It was alright. But here's where the story took a turn.
So, as we all know, Master Duel Meta is a great website for Master Duel players, and they have a Master Duel meme review, and guess who reacted to it? Mr. Farfa. So he was looking through the memes, and one of the memes had our thumbnail in the meme. I'm just surprised the guy found our thumbnail, because when you search up runic decks, our video does not come up. That video got like 300 views at the time. So I don't know how the guy found our thumbnail. But he did, and in the meme he's calling us idiots. He's calling runic players bad, which they are. But still, it was just like we got shit on by a meme, and I just saw it in a random Farfa video. Like, what the fuck? I'm sure he's not the only person who reacted to it as well. How the fuck did he find that meme? So sometimes it's not all about humiliation, sometimes it's about financial ruin. That's part of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Experience. We have many stories of us losing a fuck ton of money on sets. So there's 2 in particular we made videos on. Extreme Force and Tactical Masters. Let's say it's like €6 each for a box, it's €120 gone because we pulled fucking nothing from these.
Yeah, you're not, don't get me wrong, of course it's a gamble when you're buying a booster box, like you're not guaranteed to like make your money back at all. But when we said we made no money on this, I mean we literally made nothing. The fact that each box roughly cost about €60 or something like that, and the fact that we pulled every card being like 2 cents, we made such a loss. Never as big a loss on anything else, but oh my god, the amount of loss we made in those 2 videos was horrendous. The worst we've ever done.
At least with Extreme Force, we did pull like 4 Ultras, 2 Secrets like you're normally meant to, but with Tactical Masters, we pulled like, I think 2 Secrets and 3 Ultras. That's not meant to happen. There was definitely something wrong with that box. We just did not pull anything good. So even the times we do pull good cards, like in Battles of Chaos where we pulled a Guardian Chimera, we sold it pretty fast for like €20. That's like stonks right there, right? Guardian Chimera shortly went up to over €40, so we missed out on like a lot of money there. That was pretty sad. This happened a few times. Also from the same set, I did try to sell some cards on Card Market, and you know, we got a sale, that was pretty cool. Guy bought a few cards, maybe like €30 there. Nice, I can buy you some pretty cool cards. But then the guy said, oh, I didn't actually get my cards. And I'm like, that's kind of sus, because you wanted to cancel the order because you found your cards at locals. And I said, no, I already sent the cards out. And then suddenly you don't get the cards. And then suddenly you listed the fucking cards on your own Card Market account that I sold you, you stupid fucking prick.
When Super Heavy Samurai like first came out with their new support, it was clear that they were going to be really meta, like they were going to be the best deck. So I was thinking, oh wow, while the cards are cheap, I might as well get them. I might as well like really invest heavily into Super Heavy Samurai. When I say invest heavily, I mean, okay, like actually get the really good staples too. So I spent a lot of money on getting Barone and Therian King Regulus, who were still pricey at the time. And my deck was pretty much almost entirely built. I was just waiting on a few cards and I was looking forward to like having a proper, my first full-on meta deck going into the new format. Because we never really had a proper meta deck. Sean and I played pretty powerful rogue decks, but never anything that was properly meta. So this is the first time I'm investing heavily in the meta deck, and my cards did not even fully arrive, and they released a ban list, and they hit Scarecrow. The best card in the deck. It pretty much completely neutered Super Heavy Samurai from getting their broken 1-card combos. The deck was no longer meta and just fell down to pretty much rogue contention overnight. Just the fact that you invest so much money into a bunch of like good staples like Barone and Tyrion, and then all of the other cards as well, only to find out that the deck is neutered not even like 3 days later, was definitely a horror story that I still am not over to this day.
The fact that this wasn't even the first time is even funnier. Prank Kids moment.
That was a Prank Kids moment. I had Prank Kids work pretty well for a while. Meow Meow Mew being hit and then going to 1 kind of sucked, but I still managed to play Prank Kids, but then they completely neutered my deck. Any deck I pick up that has Link 1s always get neutered. I just can't deal with that shit anymore.
Rika Supremacy, we will never get banned. So in the past, Luke and I were big box openers. We'd always like buy boxes, and I'd usually have a good bit of luck, you know. I'd pull some pretty good cards, like collector's rares or like really good staples from certain sets. And Luke, you know, would not have the best luck, you know, he'd kind of get shit on by me. So we kind of had a challenge. We were going to spend $69 on any pack we wanted, and we were going to have a challenge to see who pulls the better cards. I spend $69 on a bunch of packs. I pull decent, and Luke also does the same, and he pulls like, he makes over €150.
Yeah, so I think the whole point of that, when I was strategizing for what to get, the main point was just like beating Sean. So basically just get packs that have like high rarity cards and like really good prints in it. I was expecting to pull as good as I did, just because I was opening packs from Dual Overload and Maximum Gold and stuff like that, but my god, it definitely paid off. Usually Sean was the one with all the luck, but I was just thinking, okay, if I go for the high rarity packs, I'm more likely to benefit from it. With the Dual Overload, I wanted to pull Kriston Hockey Fibrax, which I did, and Imperm as well. Also opened Rise of the Duelist because that was like a really well sought after set at the time. And at the time, Gravedigger's Trap Hole was worth like €23. I pulled that. And then in Maximum Gold, I managed to pull pretty much all of the hand traps, including Ash Blossom, Ghost Ogre, Ghost Bell, and Spoopy Dogwood.
He's just built different. He's just actually built different. And ever since then, my luck is just, it's gone. I can't pull good cards anymore. And Luke's pulled like insane cards every time he buys a tin or anything like that. He's always pulling like the best card in the set. On the topic of videos, we have a series known as the Budget Deck Building Challenge, where we give ourselves a budget and we both build a deck in that budget, and you know, we fight each other and see who wins. So for episode number 3, $20 budget, I build Magic Key. Do you know Magic Key? You probably don't, but Magic Key is an awesome deck. It incorporates a bunch of different extra deck strategies. So you Ritual Summon, you Fusion Summon, you Synchro Summon, you Xyz Summon, you can Link Summon. It's a really cool deck. And Luke built
Flunderies, let's go.
For $20 fucking dollars, because you can do that.
It was funny, it's like such a cheap deck to make. It's like, okay, $20, what's a good deck I can make for like $20? And I was like, oh, hang on, all the flu cards are really, really cheap. It was funny because even if you look back in the video, the first card to activate was Jack in the Hand, which was a staple for Flunderies at the time. And the first thing I say when I say I activate Jack in the Hand, Sean says, I better not see a bird. And I reveal all the Flunder cards. It was a really funny video, a lot of fun to make. It goes without saying, we mostly play the best 3 out of 5 with those videos, and sometimes we'll actually get to game 5 or we'll get to game 4 or something like that. No, we just did 3 games with that one because Magic Key did not win a single time against Flunder.
So, you know, we didn't only just start playing Yu-Gi-Oh! We've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For years, you know, on the playground, like Jade and Yugi. And you know, on the playground, some shit kind of happens. You might get scammed, you might trade some cards that you realize, oh, you shouldn't have traded. You might get fucking robbed. I know some guy traded me a bad card for like a Cyber Dragon card. I think I traded him a Chimera Tech Overdragon, which I'm sure is pretty expensive at the time. Either way, I traded to him for a shit card, and then these two fuckers just walk away, kind of like snickering, and I'm like, oh shit, I just got scammed. But even recently at locals, some guy asked me for trades, and normally I don't have a trade binder on me, but this time I did. And it wasn't really a trade binder, this is a binder with some cards in it, and he was like, do you have trades? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I looked through his stuff, he has a bunch of cool stuff. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't mind this. And he's like, nah. I'm like, okay, can I have this thing? And he's like, nah. And he's like looking through my binder, and I have a bunch of good staples and shit, and he's taking like all of them, like, can I have this, can I have this? And, yeah, sure. He takes my Gamma Seal, and I'm just thinking, okay, yeah, it's like probably €1. And I see he has the new Evolzar XZs from Dune. And I'm like, oh cool, I need that for dinosaurs. It's about $5. So you take all these guys, I'll take the Evolzar, and then we're good. So he does that trade. He takes about like 20 cards off me. They're all commons and all that, but still. And he takes the Gamma Seal. And I take, I think it's a Zombie Vampire and the XZs. And then, you know, I'm like happy enough. I'm kind of annoyed that he took a bunch of cards, but I'm like, yeah, it's better than me actually having to buy the Evolzar. So, you know, cool. And then I go on Card Market and find out that Gamma Seal is like a tenner. So I got fucking ripped off. Now, in fairness to the guy, I'm sure he didn't know. But still, what the actual fuck? Check your cards, guys. I didn't think Gamma Seal was that expensive. I had no fucking clue. But sometimes it happens.
So the only time I ever like accidentally, I guess, yeah, it was accidentally I scammed someone was there was a neighbor of mine who were both big into Yu-Gi-Oh, and he was just thinking, all right, I'm going to start like selling a lot of my cards to like kids on the neighborhood and stuff like that. It's like, okay, cool, whatever, that was fine. So we had like a whole layout in his back garden, and we were just selling cards to like all these different people, all the different kids around, like 20 cents for that card, 20 cents for that card. And I came across this Synchro that was shiny, and I was like, oh cool, a shiny card, what about this one? And then he was like, oh yeah, well since it's shiny, I'll sell it for €1. And I was like, alright, cool, I'll buy it off you. And he was like, yeah, sure. So I don't even think I paid the full €1 for it. I think he was just like, alright, you can just discount price or whatever the hell. So I think I spent about €1 or less on this card. I took it home and I had it like stored away until like years and years later. So we were like kids at this stage. I think we were about 9 years old. And it was only when me and Sean were started getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh, like 10 years later, I showed Sean this card and I said, told him the story. We're like, oh, that's pretty weird. It was only after that we looked into it and realized, yeah, this is actually a ghost rare black-winged dragon that is worth way more than €1. So yeah, I bought a ghost rare for €1 without even knowing its value, which I think is pretty cool.
He's too good. He just scams kids for a living, you know?
They call me the trickster, the negotiator, if you will. I am Jordan Belfort in the flesh. I'm the Jordan Belfort of Yu-Gi-Oh! What can I say?
To round off, we have 2 stories not from us, but from some friends. So, I know a fellow, who had a Slifer the Sky Dragon back in, I think, 2010. So at this time, it wasn't officially printed yet. You could only get like the promo version. So the actual kind of anime red version of Slifer, you know, from like, it was a promo version. So you'd buy it on eBay or whatever, and you couldn't play it, but it was pretty cool. And it was official, you know, it wasn't a fake. It was a real card. It was a real promo card. It came in a top loader, and whenever a card comes in a top loader when you're a kid, you think it's worth like €1,000,000. So, you know, he was going up to people on the playground, and then someone noticed it and was like, hey, can I have a look at that card? So he had a look at the card and he's like, oh, that's Slifer the Sky Dragon, that's pretty cool, it looks really rare. I'll trade you my whole deck for it. And, you know, my friend was like, yeah, I'll do that. So he takes the whole deck, and the guy's deck has a bunch of really good cards. He has like Relinquished back then. He has a bunch of ritual cards and all the ritual monsters for them. So he has like a bunch of ritual cards, a bunch of just really strong like staples and stuff like that. Some just really rare cards you would not find anywhere else. And then you know, the school bell rings, so we have to go back into class. And then the guy's just like, hey, this is fake. And then my friend was like, no, it's not. And then he just fucked off. And then the guy was just, you know, he thought he was scammed. But he wasn't scammed. It's a real fucking card. That was a W moment for my friend there. And finally, another friend story. She went to locals once. She had a full power Blackwing deck because she's fucking based. And unfortunately, it was stolen. So, as bad as the stories that Luke and I have about going to locals, we've never gotten shit stolen. We've gotten scammed, we've gotten shit on, but we've never been fucking robbed. Yeah, it was like full power Blackwing, you know, back in the day, so it would have cost a bunch. But luckily we can end on a happy note because her locals rebuilt her deck. Like card by card, everyone pitched in, and that's heartwarming. That's some good shit right there. So you know, there is good in the community. We're not going to rob you all the time. We're not going to scam you. We're not going to shit on you. Sometimes we'll come together and, you know, we'll make things right. So I think that's a nice note to end on, that there is some good in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, even if there's a lot of fucking bad. So thanks for watching. Maybe we can make this a yearly thing where we talk about the horror stories of being a Yu-Gi-Oh player, because there's a lot. So, you know, maybe give us some of your horror stories in the comments, and maybe you'll get featured on the next episode. So thanks for watching. Happy Halloween!